Hey yo, what's good people? It's your boy the Kryptonian saying here, bringing you a review for One Piece Chapter 389. Just gonna go ahead and get this out the way now. The reason why I'm all dressed up and everything is I'm getting ready to go to a benefit dinner, a charity benefit. So that's why you're looking like saying you look spiffy. Like that's why. So with that out of the way, Chapter 389. Holy shit, man. Frankie, I love Frankie, man. Like, and he's not a favorite character. I know sometimes you guys like, why the hell do you like Nami so much, and why are you starting to love Sanji? That's another discussion. But Frankie impressed the hell out of me, man. Like Frankie, you could tell for a little bit. Frankie's just kind of looking, he's moping a little bit. He's just like, damn, Luffy and them Straw Hats, they're coming for Nico Robin. My people aren't coming for me. This sucks, but you know what? I'm going to make the most out of this. And that's when Frankie does the most hilarious thing. And it's right here that we just see Oda borrow from that Toriyama gag writing where he has Frankie expand his butt, right? He's got like the huge butt, like some of the really bad butt implants. And what you end up seeing is everyone's like, oh my God, he's going to blow himself up. Because that's what he's saying. And I'm thinking, well, if he blows himself up, then who's going to build Luffy the ship? And I was like, okay, you got Iceberg. Oh, cool. He's going to sacrifice himself, right? No way. That's not what happens. Frankie uses the butt to explode with a huge fart. And it's bad enough to where even after he's gone, people are like, whoo, that stinks. And Frankie even says to himself, he says, if I only drank one more cola, I could have got us to the other side. That is very unorthodox, and it's very in character because, you know, Frankie, he's a little goofball in his damn self. And it's stuff like this. It really makes me wish that Frankie will join the crew because that's something I could see Luffy just laughing his ass off at. And I like how Frankie not only uses it to break through the walls, but to also break their chains and to get some space between them and the rest of the members of CP9 and the Marines that are guarding them. But also, he's using this as a motivation with Nico Robin to say, look, your Straw Hat people, they're fighting their ass off to get to you right now. They've made it this far. Any deal you've made with the government, you got to understand that deal is null and void. It's no longer going to be there. And what I thought was really cool about all of this is the fact that after he gets the chains kind of taken off and everything, you got Nico Robin. She's just kind of standing there. And it's almost as if she's looking like, what do I do? And Robin's one of those characters where I read her as being a really deep thinker. And in order for her to survive in the manner that she's done for so long, she has to be aware of a situation. She has to be able to weigh the pros and cons of any situation. And when you look at what's happened with Robin, it just seems very, very fitting. Sorry, I've got a bit of a glare going on. It just seems very fitting that Robin reads the situation as I have to tell Luffy and the others to turn back. Maybe it's not too late. And that's exactly what happens. Because what we end up seeing is Luffy's like, oh my God, thank goodness you're still alive. And Robin, you could tell that's the last thing she wanted to hear. The last thing. And she says, I didn't tell you guys to come here. I didn't tell you to risk your life. Get out of here. Go home. I'm not rejoining your crew. And I'm like, yo, that's the last person you want to say that to. Because Luffy, if you look at how he got people to join, he told Zoro, like, hey, I'm going to get your swords, and then you're joining my fucking crew. There's no ifs, and buts about it. You're joining my crew. Same thing with Sanji. He's like, hey, you want to join my crew? Sanji's like, no, you idiot. I'm staying here. Okay, that's cool. I refuse your refusal. Like, that's still one of my favorite Luffy lines, man. So, Luffy has a history of this. Once he got his mind set up, you're not talking him out of this. And with Luffy, all of the CP9 people are getting ready to show up. They assemble at the end, and they're all going, how the hell did Bluno lose to him? And some of them even talking shit. Like, Rob Lucci is just like, yeah, I guess running a bar for 9 years or 5 years will dull anybody's senses. Like, there's no reason he should have lost. And that right there is why they'll lose. Right there. Because they're already thinking, man, we just whooped their ass just not that long ago. They couldn't have improved that much. You know, Luffy's got the gear too, which I'm going to touch on in a second. But they're very arrogant, and with a lot of shonen antagonists, and just antagonists in general for most cases, they're a victim of their own hubris where they get overconfident. And so when you look at all of this, the way that they're assembled, really, really telling. Because again, Rob Lucci is right there in the middle, and you got Khalifa all the way on the end. And when you look at her, right, she's kind of got the hair kind of, spazzed out a little bit. She's drawn differently than before. She had a little bit of sex appeal, but there's a little small change there. So I know that she ate the devil fruit, same with Kaku. So I'm wondering what her devil fruit ability is. And I'm almost pretty fucking sure we're going to see her and Nami fight. And I'm wondering if her devil fruit, if there's going to be some type of counter where Nami's able to use that baton that she has, where she's able to use like the lightning and just like create the tropical storm. I'm wondering if there's some type of balance to that, because otherwise, Nami is not strong enough to defeat a devil fruit user. That's just my kind of take on it. But what's also interesting is Kaku seems very agitated, because when he just kicks the hell out of Frankie, right? Kicks the hell out of him. He's even asked, like, are you upset because of this new devil fruit? And if that's what happened, I'm wondering if he's having a reaction to it, because if I'm not mistaken, not everybody can handle a devil fruit. There's consequences, if you will, if your body's not compatible with it. So if that's the case, I'm wondering if he's having some type of reaction to it. Maybe I'm reading too much into that. It's just that a lot of times when it comes to literature, a lot of powers and all this other stuff, there's usually risks that come with it. There's usually some type of trade-off. Like, say, with Star Wars, you can become a Jedi. That's cool. You can do a whole bunch of amazing shit, right? I'll be using mind tricks like a motherfucker. Like, you shall let me get out this ticket. Like, I would be a Sith like crazy. But this is the thing, right? At the same time, you have all these powers, but if you give into your emotions too much, you can fall over to the dark side. And so there's always a risk that comes with it. With devil fruit users, maybe the risk is just you can't swim, but I'm pretty damn sure I read somewhere that there's a thing your body has to be compatible as well. So I'm wondering if he's having a reaction. Now, with all that out the way, okay, all that out the way, I want to talk about Luffy. Because when Luffy is kind of looking around and he's yelling like, Robin, Nico Robin, where are you? When he's doing all this, right? You hear his stomach, right? It shows like the sound effects. He's hungry. And because I worked up a good workout. And the first thing that came to my head on this is, because again, you have to have consequences for stuff. First thing that came to my head is, did he have to eat because he used that gear too? Because Luffy had a hell of a power up. And it's kind of like with, Saiyajins or Saiyans, going by the dub, but it's just like with Saiyajins, right? When they fight and they power up and they go through all these transformations, it speeds up their metabolism and they have to eat a shit ton of food in order to recover. And I think it's the same thing. I think it's the same thing with Luffy, where every time he uses that gear too, it's such a stamina wreck, right? Where he's getting this huge power, huge increase, and after the fact, he has to eat the meat in order to recover. And I think it only gets compounded more on the fact that Luffy is doing all this excess fighting. So that's something I really want to know. That's actually going to be my chapter question for you guys, is does the amount of meat that Luffy has to eat, is it equivalent with the amount of gears they use? Because we saw him use Gear 2, and I'm pretty damn sure that Oda foreshadowed that he could use a Gear 3. So if he uses Gear 3 instead of 2 big chunks of meat, is it going to have to be 4 or is it going to be 6? Like, I'm just really curious if Luffy's eating habits directly tie into how much he expends, Because obviously as people, we need food and water to sustain ourselves. But ironically, you can go weeks without food and you can go days without water. So that's just something I'm kind of curious on. But overall, this was a good chapter. I'm really hyped to see what's going to happen next, particularly when it comes to Luffy taking on the CP9. And it looks like the rest of the Straw Hats are pretty far off. And I don't see a way that Luffy can defeat all of them. It's not necessarily the shonen way for the main set of antagonists to all gang up on one main character. I would love to see it. I want to see some huge tag team action. Kind of like what we saw with Zoro and Sanji doing the Davy back fight. I want to see more things like that. So if it's Luffy taking on all the CP9 and he's fighting by himself. I don't care. I want to see it. But overall, like I said, very good chapter. But if you like anything I had to say, hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. Don't forget to comment and subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much for watching another video by Kryptonian Saiyan. Have an awesome day, guys.